Right now, in real time, we're witnessing one of the most undeniable shifts in hip-hop history. Kendrick Lamar's presence and the massive success of GNX have silenced nearly every major rapper. Most artists are staying out of the way, too afraid even to be perceived as competing with the undisputed king and boogeyman of hip-hop. As we approach the Super Bowl, Kendrick's momentum is only accelerating. His monthly listener count has hit an all-time high, and the industry has finally accepted a hard truth. When Kendrick Lamar makes a move, everyone else must step aside. But despite the dominance Kendrick has established, there's always one artist who makes the mistake of trying to challenge the movement. A rapper who not only attempted to reclaim his fading relevance, but also made one of the boldest and most misguided moves we've seen in years. Let's break down how Lil Baby tried to go against Kendrick Lamar, and how that attempt is already backfiring. Before we analyze Lil Baby's recent moves, we need to acknowledge what Kendrick Lamar has done over the past year. His latest releases, especially GNX, didn't just perform well, they fundamentally changed how hip-hop operates. Rappers now recognize that half-hearted, repetitive projects won't cut it anymore. Kendrick, along with artists like Tyler the Creator, has set a new standard. GNX wasn't about chasing trends, featuring the biggest names, or using formulaic production. It was raw, intentional, and full of artistic vision. This is precisely why mainstream rappers who rely on the old industry formula are terrified. The rap landscape has evolved, and those who can't keep up are getting left behind. More than just commercial success, Kendrick's movement has reshaped how fans engage with rap. Listeners now expect something deeper, something real. They're tired of copy-paste production, generic hooks, and uninspired bars. Kendrick's success has proven that artistic integrity can still dominate the charts, and that's a terrifying realization for rappers who have built their careers on predictability. With Wham, Lil Baby attempted to create a blockbuster album meant to appeal to fans who reject this new wave of artistry in favor of generic trap beats and repetitive flows. But there was a major flaw in this approach. Hip-hop fans are moving past the sound that Lil Baby is still relying on. His attempt to present Wham as a statement against Kendrick only reinforced how out of touch he has become with where the genre is headed. To be clear, Wham is not a terrible album. But in the grand scheme of things, it's also not memorable, innovative, or exciting. It's just another Lil Baby project, filled with the same formulaic beats, the same flows, and the same predictable features. The biggest issue? GNX continued dominating conversations, streaming charts, and cultural discourse. That contrast alone shows why Wham was never really a threat to Kendrick's movement. 21 Savage's sneak disses and industry alignments. Another layer to this situation is how industry players are subtly picking sides. On Wham, 21 Savage threw a sneak diss at Kendrick, making it clear where his loyalty lies, with Drake in the camp that's been struggling to maintain relevance. This is a classic example of industry politics playing out in real time. Even more telling was Lil Baby's social media activity. He shared a video of someone playing Wham in a car meant to resemble the aesthetic of GNX, only for that car to be destroyed. The message? Wham was supposed to replace Kendrick's latest dominance. Instead of Wham generating its own movement, it's been reduced to an afterthought. Major streaming curators aren't pushing it the way they did Lil Baby's past projects. The hype machine isn't in full effect. And when your biggest allies in the industry are artists who themselves are struggling to stay on top, that's not a good sign. The sales and streaming numbers tell the real story. One way artists try to control the narrative is through sales numbers. Lil Baby's team pushed Wham as a major success, boasting strong first-week figures. But when you break it down, the numbers tell a different story. Over 50,000 of his reported sales came from cheap digital deluxes meant to inflate the stats. When you remove those artificial boosts, Wham barely scraped past 90,000 real sales, numbers that pale in comparison to GNX. And as expected, within just a couple of weeks, the album started plummeting down the charts. Meanwhile, GNX is on an entirely different trajectory. It's not just outperforming Wham, it's actively burying it. Kendrick's streams continue to rise, his cultural influence is expanding, and his impact on the genre remains undeniable. Hip-hop's evolution and the end of mediocrity. At its core, this isn't just about one album outperforming another. It's about the fundamental shift happening in hip-hop. Kendrick Lamar has set a new precedent. The days of rappers getting away with lazy, uninspired projects are coming to an end. Lil Baby, like Drake before him, is struggling to adapt to this change. Rather than evolving his sound, he doubled down on the same formula that made fans lose interest in mainstream rap in the first place. Because of that, his place in hip-hop's future is looking more uncertain than ever. Rappers who can't keep up with the artistic elevation happening right now will not survive. We've already seen this play out with others who failed to adapt. If Lil Baby doesn't course correct soon, he might be next to fall off. As we move into 2025, the writing is on the wall. Kendrick Lamar's dominance is only getting stronger, while Lil Baby's attempt to challenge him has already crumbled. With GNX continuing to thrive and more major moments on the horizon, Kendrick is solidifying his position as the most influential rapper of this generation. Lil Baby, on the other hand, has a choice: either evolve and push himself artistically or continue fading into irrelevance like so many before him. The game has changed. If you're not moving forward, you're getting left behind.